So I spent a long time editing a video and then it just got destroyed. So here I am behind the mall in kind of a shady area, and not talking about shade from the leaves either. So Lord knows what's going to happen during this live, but I'm going to tell you guys the Redwoods Rising story. So here's the story, and hopefully no one, oh man, I just can't get the lighting right though. Good Lord have mercy. Let me come over here. All right, look, first of all, I got a little frustrated with that editing snafu. So I just want to say, first of all, that you know how in nature, like continuation of your species line is like the most important thing? We should consciously decide that we're going to do that. That even though we may not be here, let me make sure my microphone is on. Yes. Even though we might not be here in 10 generations, we want humans to be here on a sustainable planet, which means that each generation has to commit to that. Okay? So we're going to talk about the Redwood Rising story because we're trying to restore the redwoods that made us very prosperous here at one time until we logged 95% of them. And now we're having to wait for them to regrow so they can make us rich again. I mean, so they can help biodiversity again and create jobs and keep us sustainable. So Redwoods Rising started because we logged 95% of the forest. Okay. So here is a picture, a drawing by Gary Bloomfield. Notice this stump right here. So we clear cut. And you know what? There wasn't forest regulations until recently. And a lot of people are like, regulations is a bad word. Regulations means protections in this case. So you could bury a stream so that you could pull logs down easier. Okay. You could log as much as you wanted. You didn't have to pay attention to anything. As long as your corporation, and most of the corporations that are around here, a lot of them were from other countries and they didn't have to obey any protections. And they pretty much logged all of our trees, and now we can't even have a commercial fishery because there's no place for there's been dams, all kinds of stuff, but there's no place for the salmon to spawn because we buried a lot of those creeks. And then after we clear cut, and I say we because it's just Americans. So here's that stump again, that same stump. After we clear cut logged, we made it rain seeds. You know that song, Make It Rain Then, make it rain then. We made it rain seeds, but we covered those seeds in rodenticides, which kill squirrels and everything else that survived the clear cut, died from the poisonous seeds. And then the trees grew up so thick that it shaded the ground, and they're all the same age. They formed the ceiling and shaded the ground, so there's no plants, there's no flowers to get pollinated, there's no berries to eat for anything, so life pretty much came to a halt. Okay, so what Redwoods Rising does, so Redwoods Rising is a combination of national parks, state parks, and Save the Redwood League, and we came in and we cut a bunch of those trees. Wait a minute, Griff, you cut a bunch of trees and you call that restoration? How do I know? But yes, in a native old growth redwood forest, there's like 10 to 100 trees per acre. But after we made it rain then with our poisonous seeds, there'd be up to 2,000 trees per acre. No food, nothing. We had to cut those trees back. There's more trees in California now than ever. Now, this is not an excuse to go ahead and log everything. So like Griff said, there's more trees now than ever. There's a balance. We have to achieve that balance if we want our descendants, our fellow Americans, if you're truly patriotic, you want your future Americans to inherit fisheries, salmon fisheries, and logging jobs, and all those kinds of things. And we're only going to get that if we choose to use our smarts and have learned from our mistakes. We made lots of mistakes, so we should be really smart by now to do this. So Redwood Rising does this. We go in, see, there's that stump again. We go in and we daylight the streams. We uncover them. And a year later, we found fish in those places. When we clear out all those trees that were rained down, most of them were Doug firs, they weren't even redwoods. The trees start getting wider and bigger and different ages. We get more biodiversity. Okay. So in just like 10 or 15 years, it starts to look like this. So your plants come back, your flowers come back, your pollinators come back, the streams are daylit, the fish are coming back, and it starts to look good again. I think there's a crazy person coming, so who knows? This might turn into a viral video if I get attacked. Just know that I will be fighting back, so you guys will get entertained. All right. And then like 50 to 100 years later, it looks like this. And you could barely tell that it was ever logged. Folks, we need to do this everywhere. In our own backyards, we can plant native plants. You can go to nwf.org/native plant. You just put a native plant finder and you can find the plants that are native to your area. Unless you live in California, go to calscape.org. Redwoods Rising, it's a combination between Redwood National Park, State Park, and Save the Redwood League. And trust me, I've loved nature forever. I've been a commercial fisherman. I've built trails. I've fought fires. I've done a lot of things. My resume in natural resources goes, if it was a scroll, we'd be scrolling. And I'm telling you right now, Redwoods Rising works. We are restoring the forest, and future generations, our grandkids, our great grandkids, and we're not mad at our great great grandkids, even though we might not ever meet them. We want them to be prosperous, right? We don't want to use up everything so they don't have anything. Redwoods Rising and other restoration projects make sure that future generations of America can be prosperous. The American dream shouldn't be past tense. American dream should happen every generation, and it only will if we get out of our greed and start fixing what we messed up. This might get exciting pretty soon. Anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go. Redwoodsrising.org if you want to learn more. And yes, Jumpstart Nature, that's my podcast, so you can check it out. And I hope that you all have a chance to come visit the Redwoods, or at least do restoration in your own yards, because future generations depend on us learning from our mistakes and correcting things. Whew. See you guys later.